Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Evening Show right here on Smash FM here on our final lockdown, lockdown number 5 here in Melbourne, of course, here on a Tuesday. And let's turn our attention now to the music side of things. And it's great to have, of course, our favourite Aussie artist on the show. Of course, it wasn't that long ago, actually, we had her on the show because her name's Maja. She joins us right now, of course, talking about her new album that's is about to release this coming Friday. She joins us right now. Thanks, Maja, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Well, exciting and obviously just in time before the lockdown. Obviously, with of course, the album I'll Get There. How exciting is that to have that coming?
Very exciting. I'm really looking forward to being out of the lockdown and having this album out in the world.
Now, of course, before the actual, I'm assuming the physical album is out on the 13th of August, if I'm reading this correctly. But your single is coming out this Friday.
Yes, Get There, from my album called I'll Get There. So yeah, I've got a music video with the single, which is nice.
Well, let's firstly talk a bit about the video one first, which is Get There. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so basically I wrote this song when I was living in a share house and I didn't want to be there anymore. And I had this line, I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'll get there soon. I just started writing that. And I guess the song is just about feeling like, you know, no matter how uncertain we are or if we don't know where we're going to be, just like to trust in the divine that things will work out and that we are like, you know, okay, like that the universe can catch us and that we'll be fine. So it was just like a really comforting song for me that I wrote. And I hope that people feel that way now because it's super relevant in these times where we feel so uncertain, where we have, you know, like not that much control and it's hard to know what we're doing. And, you know, I think everyone is confused in their own ways or, you know, so I feel like it's just a really relevant time to release this. So it, you know, it worked out well in that way.
So far, all the singles that you've released, which we'll talk about each one of them from your album, which we've already done interview with these ones before, have come just about the right time for the times that we're in at the moment. So I know this is going to sound a really silly question to ask now, since we've done this quite a few times. Did you ever predict that all the songs that you've released, including this one, have all tied into what we're currently in or what we have been in?
Yeah, do you think all of them have? Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah,
I think Mother's Daughter and maybe Dead Inside and this one particularly are, you know, COVID-y songs. He Wants to Know You, not so much, and you know, there are some songs that are just very like comforting and grounding and emotional though that like relate in that way that, you know, when I wrote this album, it was in 2018 and I recorded it in 2019, finished it up kind of mid 2020. It would have been done at the start of 2020 if it weren't for the state of the world. And yeah, so it feels like a long time coming. Like I've had this, you know, with me for a while and I'm just so ready to like birth it out into the world and let go because it feels like I'm holding on to like my past self now. And it's like, you know, when I went up to Brisbane for a bit, I had a huge cry because I was like, oh, I just need to really like let this part of my life go. And yeah, I wrote all of the songs like once I'd moved to Melbourne and they're all kind of about, you know, self-discovery and family and accepting yourself and, you know, relationships and traveling and, you know, just those things that you do when you're young and kind of lost and trying to find yourself. That's what the album is about. Like that's why I called it I'll Get There, because I wanted it to have that sense of self-discovery. And the album like cover I'll show you, I had like me going through the maze and there's like a bird here that's kind of like a guardian angel. Now I only ever see it as that, but yeah, and like it's like like it's kind of trying to say that life is about the journey and not like the destination. But you know, when I had the title, my singing teacher was like, did you say I'll get there, because you know we never truly get there? And I was like, damn, that's wise, you know.
Obviously, hopefully we'll get there. Great segue to my next question I'm about to ask.
Exactly.
Obviously, we're edging closer to this we're finally out of lockdown. Obviously, but which is a great segue. But but I need to ask the artwork. You mentioned that it's in a maze.
Yeah.
Did you pick like a particular maze, or was just like something that's been done? Now, I know that for a fact that you got someone to do the artwork for it, which is obviously from overseas, Indonesia, I'm pretty sure.
Indonesia,
yeah, at the top of my head. I guess, how did that all come about in regards to the album cover? And was it straightforward?
Look, the thing that I found difficult was trying to connect, you know, the video clip with this, because I kind of started, one of my mentors was like, you shouldn't have started with the album cover, because then me and the filmmaker were like, oh, we're gonna go try to find a maze somewhere. There are mazes in Melbourne, I don't know if you know that, like in Victoria.
Yes.
It turned out to be quite expensive to just like rent out the maze, but also I didn't think we could get, you know, like good aerial shots of the maze. You know what I mean? Like we couldn't really get like, you know, that. And I watched someone else do a maze video clip and I was like, this just isn't fully like manifesting the way that it could. So we ended up just doing it near the whole video clip near my house at the Yarra River, and just like went up to the bridge.
Can be a maze, yeah.
It can be a maze. It can be. It's like wild down there. But we just kind of use the nature, you know, and our surroundings. And we went to Black Rock as well and filmed like on a cliff. And I just did a lot of like singing to the camera, and I wanted that direct communication with my audience. Like that was really important to me, to have that connection. And because it is such a direct song, you know, it's like very clear what the message is. So I just wanted that to like come through. And then I was like, oh my God, it's not going to connect with the maze. But I think we've done a good way of integrating the themes. Because if you look at the, like, you know,
yeah, I know.
If you look at the artwork, it does actually still line up, because there's still at least, you know, a lot of open spaces, you know, in the art, like of the video and of the maze. Like I'm still kind of in an open space kind of. And I think it's a cool contradiction as well in the video clip, because it's like, you know, the whole song is quite ungrounded. I'm singing about how, well, it is grounded in the way that I'm like, I have faith that things will work out, but I like that the surroundings are really grounding. Like, you know, it's kind of like Australian scenery, but it's very like earthy and grounding and stable, which is cool.
Do you want to thank some people who did this video?
Yeah, so Dean Swindle did the video. I'd love to thank him. He's great. We've done a lot of video clips together, so like we've worked a lot together, so we kind of know each other's style, which is awesome. Yeah, and Arif Monotherm, who did the artwork. This is amazing. Like this is all just like pencil, and like the amount of fine detail that went into, like, I don't know if you can see those little dots, but that went into doing this was, I think it was like a month's work, or 2 months. Oh, not 2 months, 2 weeks to a month. I can't remember, but in the video clip, it's just me. So, but yeah, my producer as well, Robin, did the whole thing, and it turned out really well. So that was really nice too. And yeah, those are the main people, I think.
No, that's fair enough. Obviously, we'll, once it's out, we'll definitely put out the artwork for that, so you know, so everyone knows what you're talking about. Because hopefully, obviously, sometime this week. Now, let's talk about the tour, and then we'll talk about the songs within the album. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, your tour starts in 2 weeks, if everything goes to plan. It starts in 2 weeks. Of course, starting here in Melbourne on the 14th of August at the Northcote Uniting Church here in Melbourne, followed by on the 15th, you're going to Chewton, to the Red Hill Hotel. And then you're up to Queensland. Now that's a big jump from Victoria to Queensland.
If I can get there, I will be there.
Yeah, of course, that's the 20th of August at the Jump Bar in Brisbane, followed by on the Gold Coast at Miami Makata. And then obviously on the 28th at Yakadanda in the country. That's in Victoria, isn't it? On the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the 29th at Beechworth at the Chancellor Commercial Hotel, and of course down at your favourite part of the world as well, I know, down in Apollo Bay on September 4, if it all goes to plan. So how good is it to be back on the tour again?
Oh, so good. I did feel quite depressed in the lockdown, thinking I haven't performed for 2 months, and it is kind of excruciating. I thought I was like okay with it, and then I kept kind of suppressing it, like I'm fine, I don't need it. And then I just kind of popped and I was like, I really need it. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping it all goes smoothly and we don't have to reschedule any shows, but we'll see, you know, like I'm hoping that it'll just, you know, like work out the best as possible. But anyway, the Melbourne show, I'll tell you a bit about that because that's the one I've been investing the most in at the moment. I have a cellist who's playing with me, and I've got Georgie Curry from the Northern Folk. She's going to be singing like as a support. And I wrote a piece for a choir, and they're going to be performing it at the church, which is really exciting. So we got the choir happening too. It's going to be really like spectacular. Like I want it to just be a really big show. Like it's a, you know, I always love to make, I think I've told you, I always like to put on a show. I don't like it to feel like you're just watching a singer with a guitar. I want it to feel like, you know, you're here for the whole experience, you know? So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Now, one thing I love about your tour is rarely going to many cities. They're all mainly in the country other than Melbourne, Brisbane, the Gold Coast. You're going to Chewton, which is in the country, Yakadanda, which is in the country, Beechworth, which is in the country, Apollo Bay, technically in the country. So it depends how people call it. It's true. Close enough to the country. I guess why those 4 places? Well, obviously I figure out why Apollo Bay, but why the other 3?
I went for the last one for Dead Inside, and it was great. It was such a good experience, and I met like so many people from different places. I couldn't believe how many people were traveling. So yeah, that's Apollo Bay. Yakandanda, I did the folk festival there a couple of years ago, and I just have some close connections, mainly with one radio presenter, Scott. Shout out to Scott if you're listening. Yeah, and I just really love like the people there and the vibe. Everyone's quite open and accepting, and Beechworth is close to it, so I thought I have to make a trip of those 2. So I kept them on the same weekend. The Chewton one, which is near Castlemaine, I just never been to Castlemaine, and I wanted like a new experience. So I've driven past Castlemaine, but I haven't really gone there. So I just wanted to go somewhere different. So that's why I picked that. So I'll see how that goes. I'm sure it'll be great.
How's the tickets or the reception like up in your other home state in Queensland, especially with the Brisbane and the Gold Coast shows?
Yeah, it's probably doing better in Melbourne right now, but I think it's because I've been pushing that more. So I've got to start pushing the Brisbane stuff more soon. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But there's still time. There's still like exactly like, actually not exactly a month, but there's almost what is the Brisbane show, the 20th? Oh, the 20th. Yeah, so almost a month. Yeah, I've got to start, you know, pushing that a bit more, but I'm sure it'll be great.
And how's the tickets like for the one in Melbourne, the Northcote Uniting Church one, which is the biggest show?
Yeah, that's doing good because I've really been trying to push that because I'm here and like I can talk to people, and promote myself, which is good. So yeah, it's doing well. Like there's still more time to keep promoting, so it's like, but it's been hard in the lockdown, like I haven't been able to talk to people and be out there and like engage. So I'm hoping that I can get to that point soon.
And well, you pretty much almost answered my next question. How can people get tickets for the one here in Melbourne?
Yep, so great. It's on Eventbrite. If you just go into my if you just go to my Facebook or Instagram, you can find the tour link there, and it has all the shows on that tour link. It's in like the bio, and I pinned it on the Facebook page as well. So Maja Official Music, Maja. And basically, if you just type in Eventbrite, I'll get their Melbourne tour. It should come up on Google. So yeah.
Now let's talk about the singles. There's 9 of them. Now, for everyone that's trying to, which I found out this before we came on as well, but on Spotify, obviously 3 that obviously people find when they find on Spotify. There's actually 12, but
yeah,
obviously 3 of those are not singles, which I found out, of course. But they're fantastic. They're actually fantastic, those 3. So still check it out.
Yeah, they're poems.
About the 9 singles in particular.
Okay.
Now, considering I've forgotten most of them already, considering we've done so many of them, just tell us the 9 singles. The 8 excluding the one that we've already mentioned about, the Get There. And tell us a brief story about all 8 of them, except for the one we've already mentioned.
Sure. So we first have Cigarette Smoke, which I last spoke to you about, and I kind of just wrote it in Brunswick about like my environment and wanting to feel, I was kind of just like observing my age group and the people around me, and just like writing. I like to write about things and just be really direct. But yeah, it's just kind of a catchy song, and it was about like an unavailable, like when the relationship ended, it was like, oh, why can't you emotionally connect with me? And that's kind of what that song was, really, like that feeling of like, why can't you emotionally connect with me? The second one, In Too Deep, still about the same person. It's about, I really love this one, and I really wanted this one to be one of the singles, but it didn't become a single, which is bizarre because I always thought it would, but it's still a really solid song. We had like a choir singing on it, and like, it's very like upbeat, and it kind of sounds like Christmas to me. Like when I hear it, I'm like, Christmas, it's just like has this energy that's like light. But the song is about feeling like you're in too deep in a relationship, like that feeling where you're like, oh my God, I have anxiety, I need to leave, like wanting which, like, Geminis, we like hate feeling vulnerable, even though my job is to be a songwriter. I hate feeling like when I'm vulnerable with someone, I'm like, oh, I like, this is the worst possible thing. This is not intellectual or smart feelings. And then, yeah. The next one, Left Unsaid, is about a guy who ghosted me and I never got closure. And that's pretty much just like, I got back from Europe and I was feeling really sad, and I wrote this in Gisborne, I think. Is that the place? No, I didn't. I remember being in Massenden and just like singing it, and I was still kind of writing the song at that point. Yeah, Gisborne, exactly. Okay, I'm glad that was right. Okay, Dead Inside. Okay, still the first person, not the second person. This is, yeah. He said, it's not a dream if it's killing you. And I said, I'm not the one who's dead inside. So that was just a big burn, because it's like, people not believing in your dreams, and then, trying to crush that. It's like, I forget that quote that's like, you shouldn't take advice from people who have given up on their dreams or something. But that's kind of what Dead Inside is. Yeah, I was like, I've seen it on Instagram, but I can't remember. Yeah, it's just like very, I don't know, it's still quite empowering, even though it's like a sad feeling. It's still really empowering. A Better Woman is the next one that I wrote, and I wrote that after a therapy sesh, and I ended up just because I can be a workaholic. I work a lot. And it's really about like learning to rest and to not be so crazy workaholic, like knowing to listen to, like the chorus is, I'm learning to listen to my body when it's done. I'm learning to trust my gut when something's wrong. I'm learning to accept myself as I am. I'm learning to be a better woman. It's just like, you know, that acceptance of like, I don't have to keep pushing all the time. And maybe that was my lesson from Dead Inside to the next one. He Wants to Know You is just about guys following you around, and after you've told them no, and they just still like, I want to see you though. Like I said no, and they just keep pestering you. Just the weirdos in Melbourne. That's what that's about. The weirdo guys in Melbourne. Mother's Daughter. It was hard to write the press release from that one because when me and my friend were actually trying to write it, and she's like, this is about creepy guys that stalk you. And I'm like, how are we going to make that sound professional in the press release? This is about creepy guys that stalk you. So that was funny. Mother's Daughter, I wrote when I was just feeling really alone, and I just had this moment of like, I don't fit into this city. And I just wrote, you're on your own, you're away from home, you're a fish out of water, and you're your mother's daughter. And that just kind of came out of me. And I guess it's like that feeling of feeling connected to your family no matter where you are, which like really applies now as well. As like, we probably feel more connected to our families than ever before because we have to communicate with them because of COVID. So it's like, I don't know if you found that, but yeah. Yeah, so Mother's Daughter was really personal and it did really well. I remember I did this gig and I was like, what should be my next single, guys? And then everyone was like, Mother's Daughter. I was like, yeah, I've already released that one, so I can't do Mother's Daughter again. Give me another one. Yeah. Yeah. Then Get There, obviously we discussed, and another poem, there's a poem, and then Woman I've Become is, I wrote that like separately from these songs, like at the end of 2017, and that was just about this like intense karmic lesson with this guy who was, you know, just telling me like, you need to stop going to therapy and you just need to trust yourself. And like, he was right, but the way that he went about it was so fire. And then I was just like, I wrote my own fire song that was like, don't tell me how to live. And then that's kind of what Woman I've Become is, like, don't tell me how to live. And I was actually going to call the whole album Woman I've Become, I think I said, and I didn't go with it because I'd already used the title and it was already like you know, a big statement. So I thought, no, I'm going to just, you know, I'm going to go with I'll Get There. And, but Woman I've Become was recorded with another producer. And so I had to get that song mastered so that it sounded similar to this album so that it all flowed. So I had to remaster the Woman I've Become just to like integrate. And it ends on that song and it's just like a really powerful finish. So I feel like it was like the perfect ending to this record.
Yeah. When I listen to your songs, especially those singles in those albums, obviously I haven't listened to the last one on that yet. Obviously we spoke about it a fair bit throughout the last couple of interviews that we've done, is that it's very relatable. It's very relationship in regards to, you know, what people go through in their relationship side of things, good and bad. Well, mainly bad, but
it's true. I'm not like one of those songwriters that like writes about super positive romantic experiences. Maybe I will like, you know, become less cynical. I don't know if that's true though, but I kind of just like, here's what happened, here's how I feel. Like, it's not, I'm not like I'm not into like super sappy love songs, I guess. Yeah, but go on. Mainly that.
No. I guess, you know, it's very relatable to a lot of people, and especially, you know, what we're going through right now here in Melbourne, where obviously we're just about to get our lockdown over here. And it'll be the same over in Adelaide right now when they're just about to get our lockdown on the same time. I guess, you know, like when you wrote these songs from 2017 to 2019, did you ever thought that, you know, 2020, 2021, and the times that you've actually released these singles, and now this album that is now actually more relatable than when you first wrote them?
No way. No, I didn't think that would happen. I thought it would be more relatable in like the real time of what we knew as our life, but it seems to have just worked out in my favor. And I just kept going and I kept recording and releasing. And I mean, I'm the kind of person that will just keep going, like no matter what. Like I have really insane determination and resilience, which I, you know, I'm proud of, but like I still managed to finish the album and get it like made into something, and it's like and I'm doing the tour. Like I held off from doing the tour last year because I just thought it would be a waste of time and money and like not being able to really perform. So I'm glad that I've waited, but it has been a long time coming. So it feels good to just be able to have it out in the world. And yeah, I did not think that it would be more relatable, no.
I guess we'll finish off with a two-part question. The first one is, how would you sum up this album for people listening to it? Obviously, without giving too much away. Obviously, we want people to actually listen to the album. But the second one is, and then the second part of that question is, how can people purchase it when it comes out in 2 and a bit weeks?
Probably say wholesome is one of the words I'd use. Honest, personal, emotional, direct, lots of harmonies. I'm just going to go with one word answers because this is how it's coming to me, but lots of harmonies. I love to do harmony and just like layer my voice and make it sound like, you know, a choir. Like I'm all about singing because I love to sing, so I'm a singer, but I like to, you know, to have, you know, a lot of voices. So space, maybe it's like spacious as well. Yeah, but like personal and emotional and watery and grounding as well as kind of this album. It's, you know, it's not like the next album I want to put out is a revenge album. I want it to be like Taylor Swift's Reputation, and the songs on that are just much more like cutting and fiery. And I want it to just be a completely different sound for that. But this is like very, like, it's also kind of folky and raw, and I wanted it to feel like me live. Like if you went to see me at a show, you could put this on and be like, oh wow, that still sounds like her, which was what I was really trying to achieve in my recordings, like pre this album. And it took a while, but we got there. Yeah. Second question, Bandcamp is, so Maja official music at Bandcamp is where you can pre-order it. But if you go onto my Facebook, I've pinned it again, and there's a pin to the link of the shows and a pin to the link of the pre-order. But I will be taking a photo of me with this soon so that people know that it's coming out. So yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show, especially to release this. Well, obviously, I know it's in a couple of weeks' time, but obviously to release a new single coming out, which is Get There, and obviously the album, which is I'll Get There. I
know I had to be extra annoying with that. I was just like, should I keep it the same? And I'm like, no, it has to be Get There from I'll Get There. Just, yeah. This is, yeah. I just torture myself and others. That's what ends up happening.
Yeah, you did. but
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, and can't wait to hopefully come out to one of your gigs, hopefully the one in Melbourne, depending if I'm not in Queensland by then.
Come. I'd love for you to come. I would love to see you there.
But can't wait to especially to get the reception, how it goes down here in Victoria and obviously up in Queensland in a couple of weeks.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Will.
No worries. And that's Maja there joining us there. Of course, as she mentioned, her new single coming out, which is Get There, which is this Friday, of course, for your normal music channels. And of course, I'll Get There, which is the album, is releasing on the 13th of August. Of course, just in time the day before the Melbourne, of course, performance, of course, at the North Uniting Church, which you can get tickets now. Of course, as you mentioned, we'll put all the details up on our social media as well. There's more on the Smasher Evening Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.